Hey guys, what's up? It's your girl Kim Ray and you're watching Kim Ray Music TV, and I'm back with another Greenleaf review. And child, we are mourning a tragic loss. But I'm speeding ahead. If you guys are new here, make sure you subscribe down below to my channel. Or if you watch my videos and you ain't subscribed, girl, it's free. Just subscribe to my channel. Make sure you like this video. Share this video with all your friends. And comment down below your thoughts on this week's episode. Let's get into this review. Alrighty then. Okay, we see Grace is at the jail, bailing Darius out. So he didn't pass away. They didn't torture him, but they did give this man a record. Okay, so not only has he lost his job, now he got a record. I know Darius is out for blood at this point. Him and Grace are talking. They're getting somewhere, and Darius is gonna go find out, you know, a lead. He's basically got a lead, some information that'll help get Bob Whitmore, get him found out and help them get this church back, right? So that's the whole mission, right? I want y'all to understand that this next week is the season finale. This season only has 8 episodes, unlike the other seasons that had 15, 13, 11 episodes. So yeah, next week is the finale. Bittersweet. Okay, so think about that as you're thinking about this show and the pacing. Okay, so we see Bishop. He is bringing Lady Mae, looks like breakfast in bed. Got the little tray thing and a nice little, you know, thing over the plate that you take it off. And he has a ring on there. And maybe it's their first ring, because he says that he got it from the safe. And he's basically asking her, will you marry me? This part was foreshadowing for me because it felt like you are trying to align things and do things in your time when your husband is asking you. And if she should have just said yes. She should have just said yes. But she said no. She was like, you got to do this for it first. Gives him an ultimatum like, I will marry you if, you know, you call up Tara, you know, we give them this money or we give them this house or whatever it is we gonna do. And Bishop is not with it. No, I'm not with it. I'm not thinking about all that stuff. I'm trying to marry you, Lady Mae, because Bishop knows his days are numbered. Okay? So, I'm looking at them and I'm like, we got 1 episode left. Bishop been holding on all this time. Something is gonna happen. The good news comes in and the bad news just smacks you in the face, right? So, we go on over to Zora. She's talking to her daddy and she is really trying to go to New York. You know, she is not, I guess her ticket has come back around. She pushed it out. I don't know. And now she's like, my flight leaves tonight or tomorrow. And did y'all set me up with cousin or auntie for me to stay in New York? And Jacob's like, nah, we ain't thinking about you right now. We got a whole lot going on. You need to just sit that on the back burner. Well, Zora's like, I got this studio apartment. All you gotta do is front me the money. Look, it don't have enough space for boys. Let me go. And I'm looking at Zora like, you could never slum it in New York. All these people that go to New York, it's like, my dream's about to come true. I'm about to thug it out. I'm about to get a job. I'm about to do. She don't give me that. She don't give me the grit of being on the subway. She don't give me, she's very wide-eyed and like, y'all know what I'm saying. So, you know, Jacob's like, enough with all that. Let me handle all this with my family first, and then we'll get to what you trying to do. And basically, I think Zora knows, and we all know, like, it's like when your parents say maybe just to get you off their back, but they have no intention of saying yes. So that's what Jacob, I feel like he was hoping to do with Zora. But her mind is set on going, okay? Aaron and Grace show up to crash the party at the demo, okay? They all standing out there. You got Judy, you got Phil, you got Francisco Fernando, you know, the old guy that Carissa cheated with and got the STD and all that. They're all standing out there with the construction people, and they're waiting on Bob Whitmore because he has told them he has an announcement to make, so he wants to wait for them to get there. He wants them to wait for him to get there before starting everything. So that's bought the Greenleafs a little time to get everything going. So, you know, Aaron, he's there, the family lawyer. He's like, nope, we got this, I can't think of the word. Injunction? Is it injunction? basically this file stating like, when you guys sold this land to my brother, they didn't know that it was Hope and is it Harvest and Hope? Hope and Harvest? Child, I can't think of nothing today. There's so many shows in my head. Basically, they didn't know that it was their land. Well, remember, Carissa cheated with him, and she knew. She signed them papers. That's why we can't stand Carissa, because she knowingly did that to sabotage the family and was self-seeking. And even in that moment, all because she wanted that house. The house didn't end up being what it was supposed to be. So it was just, you know. So that's why we can't stand Carissa. So when he says that to Grace, Grace is like, oh, or he says, you know, your brother might not have known, but she sure did know. Ask her. And so, you know, Grace is like, what? So Grace calls Jacob. Jacob calls Carissa, asks Carissa. Carissa like, yeah, she knew. He talking in the phone like, okay, cool. I'm like, okay, calm down. What is you gonna do? I mean, at this point, you didn't hurt the girl so bad that it's like, how could you expect her not to turn on you at some point? So Carissa's woes and sins are messing with the family even in her absence. Ugh. Okay, Noah shows up at the church. He says that he has spoken to the caretaker, and that is where Grace is headed to next. So Grace and Noah pull up, and the caretaker is calling black people Negroes still in 2020. And I'm like, y'all, I know y'all trying to get this information from this man, but I can't deal with the disrespect. But basically they find out that Daryl and Mrs. Davis, that was his mother. So this is all like, at this point in the episode, we all like, oh shoot. Okay, we really done, because that for sure lets us know that Rochelle, Tara, Basie, this was supposed to be their house, because their dad, Mrs. Davis, was their grandmother. So at this point, you know, Grace is like, okay, I gotta tell my family, you know, they talking about doing stuff righteously and doing things the right way. Well, let me tell them this part, because, you know, facts are facts. So Mac he had to have known and set that up to kill this man in the fire. Okay, so Grace goes to tell her family. Bishop, he just had enough at this point. He just like, man, this is just, it's too much. And that's why I'm like, y'all want him to go get physical, but y'all just putting all this stress on this man. All this stress, I don't understand. He's older. Y'all already endured so much. And at this point, I mean, all this fighting for this church, all this fighting for this house, like, these parents need to be sipping pina coladas on a lanai, sipping a ice cold strawberry lemonade or something. Not worried about all of this drama. And that's what I mean. Like, if these kids were out the house, if they were just like a little bit more independent, then they could make all these moves and not have to involve their parents at every turn. But Jacob always has to have his stuff cleaned up. Charity did her family crazy. Grace is the rebellious one. So their parents have set the stage for, you know, dependency. They really have. I mean, the kids don't have to leave for nothing. They just don't. So all this wear and tear on the Bishop, I feel it was inevitable. Okay, so Bishop and Lady Mae, I forgot to tell y'all, at some point Lady Mae was talking to Tara at her house, and, you know, Tara was like, basically this house supposed to be mine, you know, more stuff that I didn't want to hear. I'm just like, we could have did without this scene. We already know she ain't gonna fold. We already know Lady Mae is trying to do the right thing. We already know. But Bishop's like, you know what, call Rochelle, call Tara, invite them down here. I'm about to tell the truth once and for all. So they get down there quick. I mean, like, they ain't had no job, like they wasn't doing nothing, out shopping, had no kids or nothing. Just got down to the house quick. And I'm shocked Lady Mae, I'm like, y'all didn't have them on the porch? It was almost like they was like, cut. Okay, y'all come on in. Y'all, okay, sit right there. All right, snakeskin pants. Okay, come reapply the lipstick. All right, action. Like, y'all couldn't even make it seem like it was gonna be a lot to meet up with them, or at least go down to the Starbucks or something. Anyway, they sitting there and they talking, and you know, Bishop is like, you know, we'll give y'all, what is he saying? Is he saying they tell them that, you know, Mrs. Davis was their grandmother. You could tell that they were both like floored, like they can't believe it. And so, you know, they share that they had no clue, and, you know, that was not the intention and all of that. And Rochelle's like, she don't want the house. She don't want the church. She wants Bishop to admit the truth. So I'm just like, at this point, like, what truth could he have to admit? He already said he didn't know, girl. Like, he done told you 50 times. What you trying to hear? So Bishop's like, you know what? Oh, Charity storms out before they come over. She got to do something. So she sends out a message. She hit up that distro list for Calvary and sent out a message to all the members, like, meet me down at the church. It's going down. It's going down. Okay. And they get the call, or Jacob lets them know what Charity done did. And Bishop's like, you know, we're going to go down to this church and I'm going to confess my sins. And that's where you will find out the truth. So everybody heading down to the church. Okay. Forgot to tell y'all. AJ and Bishop AJ had came over, you know, to work on the car with Bishop. But, you know, Bishop is having these things with his memory where he can't even recall why AJ is there. And, you know, he's trying to get him to get saved, and he's talking to him about faith and all of that. But I'm just like, yeah, Bishop he not gonna be able to hold on too much longer, because he can't even remember. And they just had this talk maybe a day or two ago. So I don't know if AJ peeped it, but AJ gonna be working on that car with Noah or by himself, or really we only got one episode and this is not real life, so that's that. Anyway, they get down to the church and they walking in there big and bad. And first you see Grace and child, almost called him Noah. Grace and Darius walking there, and Bob Whitmore's in there talking to the people. And Grace says, basically, you know, we found out about, I didn't get the specifics, child. Basically, we done blew up the spot. We found out all your information, everything going down. This man is not who he say he is. He been capitalizing on the black community. Grace brings up Gladys DeMars, and that spikes Phil's ears. And all of a sudden, Phil have a change of heart. I was sitting there like, Phil, if you don't get up at some point and stand up for yourself, we gonna have a problem. Now, we done already had a problem, but I'm like, you is not gonna sit here on the second to last episode of the season and still tell me that you're not gonna speak up for yourself. So when he stood up and he was like, and Bob Whitmore was like, yeah, you don't know me very well. And Phil was like, I do. And, you know, he said what he had to say and told Judy it was over. And Judy threw his mama ring on the floor. I was like, this is not enough. This is not enough. I needed Phil to go off in a major way. I needed him to really stick it to the man. The man you've been ghostwriting for all this time. A whole book. And I don't feel like you receiving your check. I need you to stick it to him. Then I need you to go in on this woman who was fine being with you, knowing that her daddy threatened you and gave you an ultimatum. Wasn't no love. I need you. And then she threw the ring down. I'm like, ain't nobody gonna stand up and get this woman together. That's how you knew, like, wasn't nobody really feeling Phil as a pastor, because he ain't have nobody that was ride or die like, not my pastor. She just threw the ring on the ground. And Charity was just looking like, So, you know, next to come through after Phil sits down and he did his little 1-2, he done said what he had to say. Then here comes the Greenleafs in full fledged. The only person missing is Carissa, and thank God. Okay, so Bishop's like, you know, I got something to say. I got something to say. So basically, Bishop go on this whole rant, this forgiveness rant. And basically his truth was, when he received the church and the fire went down, he didn't ask no questions. Not received the church. When he received the house and he built the church, he didn't ask no questions. He saw it as an opportunity for him to flourish. He saw dollar sign, dollar sign, dollar sign. He saw advancement. He saw progression. And he didn't ask no questions about the origin or where the blessing came from or why or nothing. And then as the church grew, he started to get self-seeking, and he forgot the priority of the church, which was the people. And so Bishop up there crying, and he giving this heartfelt apology. And then you got, is it Corinne? Corinne stand up and she said, you taught us more than that, Bishop. And Keith David was acting. And I was like, he is begging for forgiveness. He is laying it all out there. He has a track record thus far of forgetting things. He about to die. He about to die. And at 8:47, I was like, you have seen on this show them do a whole lot with less than 10 minutes. Don't you sit here and think they won't kill this bishop off. Everything was happy. Charity walking off. I'm looking at her like, don't you get back with Phil. Don't you let this man back. And then she's able to tell him like, you won't ever have the opportunity to break my heart like that again. And she's able to walk off with her head held high. And I was like, self-worth. Charity got it. Closure there, right? Then next, you see Grace and Darius, they kissing all in the car. Man still got on the clothes from yesterday, ain't showered, ain't brushed his teeth or nothing from staying the night in jail. But they kissing passionately in the car. So I'm like, okay, they good. We ain't got to worry about Noah. Sophia waiting to talk to her mama because you remember Zora told her about the pictures. So she waiting to apologize, try to get this money out because, Zora got this back and forth like, you better help me because I told your mom about them pictures. Turned out Zora was lying. So I'm like, Zora, you ain't going nowhere, boo. You think you leaving, but you ain't going nowhere. So that's going on. Okay. Let me see what else. AJ looking like he ready to come on to Christ. Right? So I'm like, things are tying up too nicely. I knew when I seen Lady Mae applying the lotions and the oils and the spray and the lingerie on, and she's like, oh, now I can breathe. And now I am ready to marry you, James. We can get married now because all is well. Rochelle said that's the only thing that she wanted. I just wanted to hear Bishop say it. Now to me, it kind of wrapped up nicely, and maybe we ran into the pandemic because I don't think that they intended on having 8 episodes. I could be wrong. But it just kind of wrapped up like quick. Like Rochelle was all of a sudden happy. Tara gonna go back to where she was at. Like, what? Okay, so I was just like, Lady Mae walking over to this bed, the way the camera is panning, and Bishop was having, it almost was like, I don't even know the term because it wasn't a heart attack. It wasn't a seizure. It was just like, he was just like seizing and not seizing either. He just like, he could write, but he couldn't talk. He was having a stroke. Maybe he was having a stroke. But that side of his face, I just was like, Keith David, you better act. You had better act. Lady Mae was just, hugging him, and she got him a pen. She called, 911, or called the maid to call 911, and was trying to help him write, and he's saying, I do, and I'm sitting here thinking, y'all ain't even married. So is there gonna be anything technical? With only 1 episode left, I feel like nothing's really gonna go down. But if there was more episodes, I would be like, ooh, will Lady Mae have a say in this hospital about, pulling the plug, like all the things that could happen. But I was like, he did, because the way he just laid back, she ain't lay him on his side, she ain't going to no CPR, she wasn't screaming. I just was like, Lady Mae, do something, man. Do something. She wasn't doing nothing for me. And I just was like, Bishop. Bishop gone, y'all. He gone. But he carried it out to that last that second to last episode of the season. He carried it on out. Anyway, that was this week's review. Next week is the season finale. You guys let me know what you thought about this week's episode in the comments down below. I'm Camray. This is Camray Music TV, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!